You're running for quite a time. Rofi trying to triangulate where that amulet you saw fell. But you're all very injured. You need to slow down. Or keep pushing incredibly fast and risk exhaustion as you tear open wounds further. Because right now, a lot of you are stitched together with weaves of shadow magic. What's the decision?
Do we go home? Do we go home or do we go try to help people?
Kato will shake her head like, we have to get up there. We have to save
There
Uthura.
is no saving. You saw that.
We don't know what happened. I can go with Kato. I can give her magic to go faster. You guys can go make sure Draco's okay, okay?
What?
I cannot accept that the Daimao would fall.
If she didn't, good. Then she is already dealing with that.
We don't have time to talk about it.
You can give me a persuasion, Rakath.
That's 13. As mediocre as the line was, so that's fair.
You go home. There are people that must be protected. And she is going to wrest her arm from Rakath.
I had let go at that point.
Yeah, but she's still...
But still doing the thing, fair.
She's a paladin.
Yeah, fair.
Before you go...
Rakath, I want to go with Kato.
I'm doing okay as well. I'm gonna come with you then.
I can only speed Kato up.
I know.
There is nothing left up there.
I know.
We still need to go. If only for Kato's peace of mind. Rofi, what are you doing? You bolted.
Do we know? He goes to respond, ask you the questions he was meaning to ask Kato. He's like, wait, no, wrong person. Kato, amulet. Do you know what her amulet did? And he'll make like an amulet thing, even though he has no idea what it looks like.
The Daimao had many amulets, so did the priestess. I did not get a good view of it as it fell. But if it caused that to happen to her...
I'm going to cast haste on Kato.
Go.
I'm just going to pick me up.
She will, push you up, kind of on, almost like a shoulder. And just... booming voice at people to get out of the way, and that the church is dealing with this. You will be safe. Stay in your homes.
Boss, go home. Check on Draco. Rofi, let's find that amulet.
Okay.
This is the best time to split the party
ever.
Especially when we're all one health as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing
I
fine.
have 5.
I'm on 9 health now.
23.
Excuse me, 5? That's actually,
10, so it's
that's
not too bad.
That's pretty, it's good that you mentioned that, because as you're running, there will be a moment where Kato will actually clasp a hand on you, and you feel a cooling magic that repairs your wounds for 20 HP.
Awesome.
And she lays hands.
Can I take a little nap on being carried?
I mean, I suppose you could, yeah.
We are experienced beetle riders. We have ridden and slept.
Are you calling Kato a beetle?
I am saying that.
Considering how far she has to go up the city, yeah, you can absolutely get an arcane recovery while she's carrying you.
All right, Rofi, on the ladder.
Yeah, I'll be directing him.
Kato and asleep Yuna head up. Rofi and Rakath continue in this kind of fallen area. And Voss, you gonna head home like you were told to do?
I'm just gonna turn and beeline it to the house.
Okay. We'll deal with Yuna and Kato first, because they would get up quickly. Getting as to the higher parts of the city, you can start. There is this dust cloud that's starting to coat everything. This fine grey powder. There are some chunks of rubble just in large plazas and streets, fungal trees bent over backwards. There are some larger chunks of rubble still falling, burning with aether magic. It's when you get up that high where you can quite clearly see this crater where the high city should be, that's crackling with the blues and pinks and golds of aether magic, that she slows down, but doesn't entirely stop, and continues, but her voice shaking to tell people to get inside. We will deal with this, and there are a lot of factions in Narashiro. There's a lot of, but everyone, no matter the class, the faction, the agreement, the culture, is just staring up in confusion and awe. Some people are immediately trying to tend to wounded, but there's not that many wounded. You don't see any dead on your run up. Buildings on fire, yes, but people pulling together as a community to help with that. When Kato would pass any kind of city guard, she would give them orders, and they would do them. Which is like, check there, make people get into, the church or something like that. She would be slowed to a walk, even with the haste, when she gets to the teleportation, building, chamber, to go to the high city, and you can just see the magic is burnt out. It's like, a fuse breaking. It kind of like a burn. Like from the symbols on the magic circle, it's burnt all around and out. Actually, the person who usually mans this, you vaguely know, is just kind of out cold. Looks like they were knocked back against the wall, hit their head. There's a blood streak, and they are down on the ground.
That's okay. We can fix them.
Yes.
I'm gonna go try to heal him. Feed him a potion.
Yeah. You would do that, and with a splutter, he would come back to life. And moments after they start breathing, Kato will kind of crouch slightly and will say, "Can you operate the teleporter?" What the teleportation circle? It must run. Go, yes, of course, and will cast the spell. You see the circle shift because it moves, it twists when it's working. But the magic goes away. You can give me an Arcana check real quick, Yuna. Yeah, it's quite clear that this kind of teleportation spell, because it's basically a one-to-one, it always goes to the same place, nowhere for it to go. It could be as much as the other teleportation circle is cracked, or does not exist anymore.
Is there another way up?
There are individuals that take us up. There are occasionally
There has to
flying...
be a mundane way to go up.
There are flying transports.
It's a fire hazard if you can't get down and up. They're not magical means.
She gives
I'm just
you
pointing that out there.
a moment of a blank stare. And just walks out of the chamber And looks up.
Hey, we just need to find somebody else then that can take us.
I think Rakath is right. There's no there for us to go to. Maybe in time the circles can be repaired. But right now there are people in these streets that do not have time. Would you assist me?
Of course.
And
I'm gonna start making potions with my spell slots that I have left.
Yeah. And she would start seeking out the
I can make
most
I'm
injured.
willing to make 5.
Yeah, that's, that's going to go a long way to civilians, finding important people who actually are injured in this kind of area and starting to tend to them. While this is happening, Kato is now starting to really rally together people in like a group, troops, to work out what happened.
Bad time to mention this, Kato, but just so you know, the person who's currently going for High Priestess in the church is blackmailing all the other High Priestesses, and I have evidence. Just so you know. Since we need, stable leadership right now.
I will take care of that.
Okay.
Great.
I like how our solution to all these problems was like, Kato can handle it.
Guess we've got a new leader. It's Kato.
That's kind of what's happening, at least where she's going. She's rallying people behind her and a group of guard and paladins and priestesses. A kind of big, safe defensive group. Quite quickly, she gets reports of straight-up mobs. Rebelling slaves, the weavers, and even monsters from the deep.
They might
Oh,
need me.
okay.
But we'll worry about that later. Voss, when you get back home, it isn't like nothing's happened. The building is coated in a fine layer of dust. You get inside and everything is tipped over. All the fine decor is not broken, but just displaced. And when you would kind of walk around, you would see Draco and the 3 slaves just staring out of his bedroom window. They're not usually in there. Out and up.
Cool. Yeah, I just walk into the room and probably don't say anything for a minute.
You do that, and Draco looks at you as if you're about to tell him that Yuna is dead. Like, eyes red with tears.
I mean, yeah, picking up on that, I'll just go over to him and put a hand on his shoulder and just say, she's fine.
Where is she?
She's with Kato. She was insistent on investigating what's left of the High City, which is nothing. I'm sure they will save what people they can, but it is gone.
He just sits down heavily in his chair. Yes, technically, you have Nero, the girl, the chef, Kim, and Runt, but I forgot about those two because they.
Well, Kim and Runt are paid employees,
Kim
and
and
they
Runt
are
are paid
working like responsible paid employees right now.
There's no windows in that
No.
floor. They're just like, oh, something blew up.
Yeah,
What's
casual
new?
day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, he just sits down and takes that breath, and then will, with his like head in his hands, say, "And Rakath and the boy."
Also fine.
That's good. I would say that I would pray for them, but somehow I feel like that won't help.
I don't know if there's anyone left to pray to.
Rakath and Rofi,
Aha.
please, another investigation.
Okay.
At this point,
So
you can
how-
also try to use survival. One of you do it with advantage.
I am going
Rofi-
to
This
roll.
up as well.
I'm
You're
gonna
traveling
roll the-
huge areas. You'd rather do detect magic once you've locked it down to a location, because it lasts for 10 minutes.
It'll be 24.
That's true. Okay, yeah.
Luckily, that
Oh,
helps you
okay,
get to
yeah.
a location.
I like the idea that Rofi's sitting on his back with like something open, like calculating, and he's just running things by Rakath while he's running.
it's
with-
all the
Rakath knows the city, so this is like a.
it's all the trigonometry cost. Yeah, this is the kind of area of the city where the Torturous Tavern is.
Exactly.
You travel through people kind of ignoring you mostly, and you triangulate it to a location where the amulet would have. It's clear when approaching this place that there is a small crater. The bottom of the crater is blackened, leaving this residue. It's kind of between a few buildings. It looks like it hit a building, scraped through the roof, and kind of fell here and formed this crater. It is clearly not there. You do see some of that kind of wispy, almost ectoplasmic
shit.
blood from the Mad Priestess.
Which direction?
It's kind of... because it's in the air, it's a bit harder to tell. You can give me a survival check to try and triangulate that.
Now here's the question: which one of us is better at survival?
It's probably
I have
going
a
to be
0.
you.
So-
I have a 0 too.
Okay, well, one of us will roll with advantage. I guess because technically you're helping me, I guess, in moving.
Yeah.
So I'll roll it with advantage.
but-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rofi would also be bringing up. My plan was to get it before she got it. I don't know if we want to follow her anyway. We want to follow her if she's got it. We can go back and tell the others that she got it.
I'm mostly just wanting to know which direction she went in, so we either don't go that way, or
Can I use detect magic now to look at the
Sure.
globules and see like where the globules go?
Yeah. You can cast detect magic as a ritual. First of all, the crater is
At this time, I would cast it now, not wasting time. So just not ritual.
That's good to know. The crater appears to be some kind of dark magic remnant in it. The kind of residue, you are going to need to give me an Arcana check to track that.
Ooh, yeah.
I believe
While
you.
you're looking around, you start to see little pinprick eyes in the gloom and the darkness. When Rofi
we
points a
wanna-
direction, you see a group of around 6 creatures. Not quite humanoid, not quite fully arachnid. Rakath has met some of them before. Chitines. They have blood on their blades and on their mandibles. Clearly capitalizing on some of the chaos.
Oh dear.
Lurking.
no.
is that in the direction where Rofi pointed?
All around you at this point.
Okay.
Less in the direction you came from, but slowly
Okay.
circling you.
Well, how many approximately? 6, you said?
6. Yeah.
6. 6 Chitines. Ugh. Hello, everybody.
Just gonna slap one of these on Rakath's armor.
Okie dokie.
Click. There's like the realization of what's happening. Just click.
gonna pop out my blade because I remember now that Rofi did actually make it so that it retracts, and I'm an idiot.
One steps up, using its smaller secondary pair of arms to wipe blood off a large, almost like a cleaver dagger. This place is ours now.
We're just tracking somebody.
Tracking.
Came here,
Why?
took something, and then left. Because they nearly killed a friend of ours, and we kind of don't like that.
Everything here now belongs to us.
Well, then
Age is
you'll want
over.
to help us track this person down who took something out of this crater. Because if this area is yours, then no, it was in the crater was yours. So where did they go?
A persuasion check.
Persuasion it is.
Persuasion.
That's a 14, which is not great. It's not
Not
terrible.
reload your
though.
roll 20 because it's pretty much only messing up with you. 14,
I have hit refresh.
14 is it's enough to make them kind of as like a chattering. Their mandibles click.
I'm gonna make sure they know that I'm not an elf, so I'm just gonna pull up the thing to show.
Yeah,
that
it's
not elf.
dark here.
Yeah.
And you kind of look a bit like them. Maybe that calms them down a bit more as well. Maybe it's just not you're not an armored creature. Very well. We can't be having with thieves, can we?
No. Thieving is bad, yes.
You see one dragging some legs behind
Oh,
rock.
Ooh, what kind of body is that?
Rofi just like gives him like gives you a pat, like not now, not now, not now.
I'm just curious.
A thief.
Ah, do they have any good bits that you don't want? Like eyes, teeth, nostrils?
All can be eaten for the brood.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was just curious. Occasionally I like to, do a little dabbling with some taking of bits. Anyways, no problem. Let's go find this thief.
With the 4 arms, this one who's clearly in charge points at a couple of them to kind of stay at this position and will like lumber over. They're a very unwieldy creature with like arms too big for their body. So then we track.
Good.
Rofi just points in the direction they went. As he says that, he just immediately just points in the direction she went.
Okay. You travel.
Rofi's terrified.
This creature traveling with you, their multiple eyes glowing in the darkness ever so slightly. It's almost hums. This kind of guttural sound coming from it. There's a glee from this strange creature. The track is kind of hard to follow because this thing was walking on walls, leaping in some situations. It's in part, yes, Arcana, and also in part your tracking skills and such. But eventually it leads you towards the manufacturing district, but not kind of below it, where you can see, if you give me perception checks.
I can't see anything.
I love how you're. I love when you're
I
buying
was not
something
going to give you for free.
And then you're like, wait, no perception.
9.
Oh, it's okay. I got a +0 as well. That was so close to a 20.
It seems that she skittered around some of the rocky walls and the scrap and the slime, and the Chitine beside you kind of points and says, "She went for the city wall.
Interesting.
Okay.
It would take a excellent traveler to make it across this cavern. You are tracking dangerous prey.
We are always tracking dangerous prey. It's the nature of our business.
You are
What is your
curious
name, by the way?
individuals. I have a name,
Name.
and it's a good one.
I believe you.
One sec. I was literally looking for his name as you asked, and I'm insulted.
Sorry.
Such a way.
Arthur.
Okay.
It's not Arthur. Come on now.
Ardvarkus.
People call me Tiax.
Ooh.
It's very nice to meet you. Many call me Rakath.
On such a fortuitous day we meet,
Indeed.
as our people can travel from the deep.
Indeed. Thank you for your help. At this point, this travel may be too much if they're leaving the city. We have other business to attend to still. But if we find any other prey traveling through your territory, I would like to be able to let you know. Where can I find you?
Our brood will grow. Anywhere we rule. And it is going to kind of start crawling away, climbing away.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Yes, we're going to go back home now.
Good idea. Good. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Put the mask back down. Oh dear.
Rakath just pats Rofi on the head and walks back.
You travel back up the city. As you get kind of back
Can I
to
just
where you...
make a note of where that is in the city? Where
Yeah,
they
it
are
was
claiming their
like kind of
territories?
in between like the Torturer's Tavern and the Manufacturing District. That kind of like area, which has rarely come up because it's mostly just housing for like
It's
people
slum
who
housing.
work, not quite slums.
Okay. Good. Lower middle class housing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where to a drow, being any class below like Una and Voss is kind of shameful. So it's shameful, but really not entirely unpleasant. People make a pretty good life out here. Of course, most drow are like, "Rrr," but Rakath is like, if I had to live over here, it would be fine. But it also means there clearly wasn't very many people defending it. As you're traveling up, it's kind of when you're getting, again, kind of at the edge of like the farming area. You hear the din of chaos, of a mob, of... it seems that the mob is not armed. You know, it would be unfair to call it, you know, an army or anything like that. Sticks, rusted blades, flags. But quite clearly, a lot of them are escaped slaves or slave sympathizers. A lot of them still wear the slave shackles around the neck as a kind of sign. And it seems that they've gone freeing a lot of people in this area that makes most of the city's food. You don't really need to interact with them. You can kind of slink on by. But this is growing in the city. When you get above this, though, it is just a kind of calm and quiet. And even, you know, that mob by, like, a city that's just had a crazy thing happen is kind of small, considering the size of the city.
Could be worse.
Yeah, Rakath being someone who reads about this kind of thing and understands it, and Rofi being someone who's gone through this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It can be a lot worse. Most people are... You're seeing what I described with Una. People are working together, banding together. Marketplaces have turned into little bits of people trying to spread information. Calming voices trying to explain what happened. course, no two people say the same thing.
Rofi's going to start noting down the places of congregation and where lines are starting to be drawn.
Rakath's doing very much the same thing right now, especially noting between red-marked tradespeople that he knows. If he's seeing people go in certain directions, if he recognizes anybody from the tavern, he is making a note of where they're going.
You would occasionally, not any named characters, but in this kind of area people are grouping together, I don't really care. Briefly, when you travel near an area near a gate, you see like a group of deep dwarves that have clearly rushed over from the War Sprawl district, and they've got like barrels of water and things. And usually, accepting the help of the dwarves would be a bit. There wouldn't be this much encouragement, but that they're helping clean people who are just coated in soot and ash. But you get home without a scratch. By the time you guys do get home, it'll be the same sort of time Yuna would be finishing up. Kato would be staying, forming a little bit of a a congregation of people, but this is a bit more of the military and the church. Admittedly, it is both churches. But this would be around about the time when all of you get home. At this point, rubble has mostly stopped falling. It's only small, wispy chunks in the air. Ash has not stopped falling. Thick clouds of ash, especially the further up you go, the more this ash settles and clings and paints the walls. But you guys get home without a fight.
Taking Rofi in, putting him down in his workshop, and just sitting down.
Jariko will run up and hug you when you come in.
I hug him back, and it's very weird.
It is weird.
Of note, go on, sorry. Rofi would actually, if we started heading towards the workshop, would actually redirect us back up to the building, because for the first time, Rofi doesn't immediately jump in and start doing stuff. He's looking outside, making notes of like what's going on. He's been through this.
I am taking you off my back then and letting you run free to do that.
I imagine you actually head upstairs where the bigger window is with the better view.
Yeah.
Cool. Yuna, you would get back home around the same time as well. You would also get a hug. Your hug is less awkward and more crushing. The hug for Rakath was brief. Step back. It didn't happen.
We'll never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Something I would like to do as well, like in the time between
Please.
them coming back and what is my brief conversation with Jariko, I'm gonna also just swing by the school and see what the heck is going on over there.
That district, because that district's open. There's no buildings above it, mostly. Some spires, things that stretch out, actually has a lot of rubble that have crushed through a lot of places. Your building's not that badly damaged, but like the area as a whole is one of the more damaged ones.
Gotcha. How's Kikiwa doing?
She's not there.
Cool. I am just basically going to offer people like shelter within the school if people have had their houses like destroyed and shit, and just give people a place to like congregate safely.
You totally will. Another group of people and stray guards, herbalists and alchemists of this district, grouped together under your roof, Voss. Okay.
Great.
What next?
So one thing I would do while looking out the window, I would cobble together spyglass so I could have a proper like notes and look around at what's happening and take note of where fighting's happening, stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm going to sit down with Yuna, if she's available. So
Yeah, I probably wouldn't move from that like opening area. I probably would have sat down like at the table.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring tea, having brewed some tea, and sit down. Is Kato with Yuna at this point, or did Kato is Kato still doing her thing?
Kato ain't sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
Which
I
means
think-
we probably aren't either.
I need to sleep so I can make more potions.
Well, you should rest then.
Yeah, not sleep trap. And then I think I should go back to being next to Kato. We can't have her getting hurt right now.
I'm going to go and spend some time around Kato. There are some things that we saw in the districts below she needs to be aware of. And I'm going to do what I can to help for now. And when you're rested up and you come, you can relieve me, and I will go back and rest.
Okay.
And also, I take out the encoded thought.
This is very interesting, by the way.
Oh, I told Kato about it. 'Cause-
It's a problem now.
yeah. Exactly.
It's a larger problem now.
Mhm.
Kato
Which is
should
why I
lead.
don't want her to be alone. Yeah. I'm worried about her being assassinated.
Yes.
But I can fix her soul if it dies, I think. So,
I can't, but I might be able to protect her at least a little bit.
I think I can do that now. I haven't tried it, but, we don't really have any dead people lying around, so.
Well, might be able to resolve that. No,
I need a body, and it has to be, like, within a very short period of time.
that can be arranged.
I didn't
I
see
do
any
still
bodies
work
back
here, you know.
Yeah. I didn't see any bodies.
I did.
Yeah.
The lower city is worse off. Deep dwarves are helping. They rushed from the war sprawl. They brought barrels of water.
Well, that's
It's a
good.
chance for unification here,
Yeah, I think so.
but there are also mobs trying to rip it apart.
Yeah, we got to stop that.
Chitines from the deep. We ran
We should
into
probably
a few.
murder them.
One of them is named Tiox. He appears to be the leader of that group.
Well, TX is probably gonna have to die.
Oh, I agree. I asked him where I could find him, but he was coy about that.
Hmm.
But I'll go back another time. For now, I'm gonna go to Kato, and I'm gonna give you this back, because that can't be out in the world right now. That needs to be safe.
Okay. Take the Rocky Talkie.
Rofi has it right now. I'll go grab one. Actually, you have one. Can I grab yours, and then you can grab it from Rofi so I can go now? Great.
Well, if Murphy's gonna stay awake, he can hold on to it for now.
Fair enough.
He'll
Enjoy.
I'm not going to say anything to anybody else, and I'm leaving.
Okay.
I'm going to go find Kato.
Probably with a little bit of direction from Yuna, but it's not incredibly hard. Because it's close to where you guys live. In the plazas of the noble areas of the city. Areas most hit by rubble and things, where there's a lot of burning. But a lot of the fires are burning out or are being cured. Tents have been put up, tarps, like between buildings of like web, thick webbing that's kind of given like a bit of a shelter from the ash falling between. Like, basically, this entire plaza is almost like blocked off. It's almost like a quarantine zone to go even more post-apocalyptic with it. When you approach.
Notable thing, I don't have my mask on right now.
Yeah.
I am full-blown regular Rakath right now, so...
When you approach some of the guard, which look quite haunting with their samurai masks coated in a layer of ash, will at first kind of like raise their weapons to you, but you hear them being yelled at to put their weapons down from further inside.
I don't flinch and I keep walking towards
Exactly,
them even when they
yeah.
have their weapons up. I didn't even stop for a second.
Exactly. You head inside this area, and there's a lot of people here, you know. And the buildings as well, you know, the windows are open. In some places a wall has been kind of torn down, probably by the rubble, but allows people to rest and meditate. People from the Serpent Church in their green scaled robes are performing curative magics, and so are the priestesses of the Spider Queen, but to a slightly lesser extent. They usually specialize in a little bit more offensive magic. Kato is leading all of this, and when you approach, she has a map of the city, which is very complicated because it's three-dimensional and not simple as on this layer. But actually, you know what it would be? It would be a Traitor's Run board
Yes, it would.
of the city. And she would have these figures on places of the city to represent where people are and factions are. And on seeing you, she will put a ogre right where she is.
I bring reports from the lower city and from our track.
Our target
Yes.
would best remain between us.
Indeed. But that is something we will discuss. For now, there's more important items. Shatteen are rising up from the deeps. They've taken over part of the sprawl between the Traitors, the Torturer's Tavern. Sorry, Traitors Run Table. The Torturer's Tavern and the Manufacturing District. They're led by a Shatteen named Tiax. I was able to appease him for a moment when we were tracking, but they've killed many. They claim the area as their own, and they say those who walk through it are thieves. They're slaughtering. I only saw 6, but I imagine there are more.
It would make sense that creatures like that to drive themselves out of the fungal forests and into the city when they sense the smallest amount of weakness. They will be easy to take care of when people are safe. Until then,
Indeed.
they might cause more danger.
Groups are separating between themselves down below. There are also those who wear slaves' chains around that are not in chains anymore.
One
They
of
are
the
freeing.
reports we received was that the Weavers, in the strength they have... This was not public knowledge, but the Weavers, the slave army, was fighting battles in the Manufactory District for
Yes.
a quite long time. But they were losing. They were losing resources, they were losing people. They mustered all that they had left, and they stormed that district before the explosion, and they took control of it. Now I think it has returned to some degree of chaos. Maybe those are the mobs, but I cannot doubt that it is in some way connected. Those Weavers will have to be eradicated.
Or brought under. Not everything requires eradication if reformation can be had. But I defer to you, Cato. You are, as far as I'm concerned, the leader I follow right now. Let me know what you need.
Your information is extremely valuable. And she will kind of motion to a priestess that will be putting these little symbols on the magnetic board to represent so the chains are that.
I'll give more specific instructions to the table to exactly where I was seeing these groups and exactly where I was seeing people group up.
It seems that there was a battle in the High City before it erupted. That sigil that appeared Some of the mage priests are looking into it in the Palace Arcanum to see if it is connected to anything.
Can I just quickly roll an insight check on the situation to see if because we've heard about the intruders.
You heard about the Weavers.
And we've heard briefly when we were at the tavern about a golden devil.
Yes.
When we were at the tavern. Can I just roll an insight check just
That's
to
a
see
history.
if history, yeah, just in case Rakath remembers anything about that. Probably not.
No, but, I mean, there would be a lot of people in this camp saying it was the Golden Devil. But when you would kind of turn and like kind of clearly be listening to like someone, it's like, there seem to be very few survivors from the High City. Ones that managed to get away in time. It takes time to run the teleporter, and whatever they did quickly.
They either did something, or they didn't make it out.
Everyone in that city would fight to the death to defend the Daimao.
Yes.
So I think we will find very few survivors.
I don't think that we will see any survivors. Not the ones that stayed there during the explosion. That kind of explosion doesn't leave survivors. But there would have been those who fell. And even though the fall was great, a fall being broken by buildings could be survived.
It does not matter if they survive with you now.
Yes. Information, after all, is their golden goose.
Please.
One thing I will say. She's resting. She needs to recover before she can help. As soon as she's able, she is going to come and relieve me. When I will go and rest.
In that time, I would encourage you to find any bodies that clearly fell from the High City.
Will I have your company for that? Or are you going to be directing from here?
For now, this is where I make my stand.
I put my hand on her shoulder, and through a voice that only she will hear.
Be safe. You are the leader right now, and there will be eyes on you. They may come for you. Be vigilant.
And that's that, of course.
You will nod.
And I just nod back as essentially a making it as much as I can to be a soldier's nod to her. You know, essentially where no words are spoken, but it's a sign of respect.
But words were spoken.
But words were spoken. And I will start trying to investigate towards bodies that will have fallen from the High City. It's a natural 20, sir. The 29 total.
It finally, it did the thing where it started to go towards the 8, and I was like, not again, not again.
Didn't even break 30. Pathetic.
I know. Amateur hour.
You wander this area of the city where most of the things that fell. It takes time. It takes looking from high places. It takes a lot of things. But eventually you do find a body. It's charred. Somewhat. It looks like they were a priestess of some regard, but wearing some armor which protected them somewhat. Their body wasn't completely evaporated.
Do they have a mouth?
Yes.
Good.
But more noticeably, the thing that catches your eye immediately is a gleaming golden sword plunged through her chest. And this is a great place to take a break.
Well, for my medicine check, I'm gonna have to remove that sword.